phone runs out of battery, you plug it in and you know it's just going to charge. It's something that you probably don't even think about. But what about you as a person? How do you recharge your batteries? The signs are somewhat there. Gym memberships are on a decline. More and more people are moving less. We are very much now indoors. And the anti-work rhetoric has skyrocketed. And the Great Resignation has landed. And now it seems like we no longer have the energy anymore for anything. Are we becoming a nation of energyless human beings? But first I want to tell you a little bit about my experience when I entered the workforce. I was full of enthusiasm and somewhat naive, I would say. I would agree to almost everything that was thrown in my direction. The hours were long and the days were intense. And along with the commute, my days were just eaten up. And for the first few months, I thought I was fine until the pressure and anxiety just hit me like a wall. It was 6 months in and my energy levels were beyond depleted, resulting in me sitting in front of my doctor explaining my symptoms. And at the time, I thought I was invincible. I was meant to be young and strong and fit. It was that day I learnt, with all the best intentions, you can be the best time manager in the world, but you'll get nothing done as long as you continue to neglect the management of your energy. The traditional way of managing your time is by splitting it up into tasks. You need to complete a task, then you allocate time to it. And you give yourself a goal, let's say 2 hours, but what most people don't take into account is how you feel, how your energy levels are. And some tasks require a little bit more energy than others. And unlike the constant of time, energy is a resource that depletes. It withers with the day. And what we do with our energy does matter. Think of yourself in the morning like a freshly charged battery. They only last for so long before the quality of our decisions may become compromised. In your day-to-day life, there are things that energize you or deplete you. And unfortunately, most things will be draining you. Even if you have a fully charged battery left idle long enough, it will lose energy throughout time. And I'm really hammering home this battery analogy. Anyways, there's positive energy inputs like sleep, good nutrition, even laughter. And then there's outputs like doing anything physical, stress, or any type of problems. But this is not a good versus bad argument, but one of where we can find a good synergy between the two, between work and rest. Because at the end of the day, we need an element of controlled stress in order to progress. If I go gym, that's a concentrated stress that I'm inflicted on my muscles in that 1 hour. And then next week I come back stronger. But there have been times where I've overtrained, and on the odd occasion, I've made myself ill or even injured myself doing a simple movement. And whether it's the cumulative stress of the gym, the relationship, or an overbearing boss, it's all mileage that is clocking up. And this is why managing your energy levels is a non-negotiable. Your physical energy needs to be managed, which is the foundation. And these different categories of energy aren't independent of each other, but we generally tend to be overtrained and overexerted in one of these realms. This involves getting sleep, eating right, and exercise. Getting an adequate amount of sleep is crucial to many aspects of our lives. Unless you're getting into a deep state of sleep, you may wake up and you still may feel exhausted. The quality of your sleep is paramount. When I have consistent sleep, my mood is better, my energy is more consistent, and I'm more creative, I'm sharper, and ultimately, I feel more refreshed when I wake up. And this could be as simple as setting yourself boundaries, whether you see yourself as an introvert or an extrovert, or someone who lies in between. How you are in a social setting can have an incredible impact on your energy levels. I used to work somewhere whenever I was on my lunch, I would have it on my desk, and my manager would literally still come up to me and still ask me a load of questions in the middle of me eating. And in my mind, it was clear that I was on my break, I was having my lunch. As long as I was on my desk, to him, I was working. So I had to set a clear boundary and make it clear that I was on my lunch. And I'd done that by literally just leaving my desk. I would take my lunch to the nearest park and I'd sit there. And setting boundaries can be applied to other areas of your life, like partnerships. And they're called emotional vampires because they have a tendency to drain your emotional energy. And being around this person is tiring for too long because they need that constant attention. They always have crisis or drama or relationship issues. They are the personification of an emotional roller coaster. And don't be mistaken by emotional vampires. They're not all pathetic losers. They could be the most charming and well put together person on the outside. Because like a vampire, they're usually in disguise. And I think people really need to be aware of the energy exchange when they're communicating with people. You need to have that self-awareness. And as Maya Angelou says, people forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I'm always conscious of my interactions and what I'm feeling and what that person's gonna feel after I've had that interaction when they finish talking to me. I mean, I can't always be upbeat, but when I can, I always like to be that battery that sort of sparks someone's energy. You never know, you could hop on that call with a friend and that could be that call that just gets them out of bed and lets them know that things ain't that bad after all. We can almost ignore that we're at the end of our energy limits. We ignore the loss of focus and the low energy, and sometimes we power through it artificially to compensate it with caffeine or sugar. But the fatigue at some point will catch up with you. And I almost think that you need to approach life like an athlete. For the most part, when they're training behind the scenes for months or even years at a time, they compete at selective events, and the lead up to a competition, the intensity increases, almost pushing them to the limit, but not too much. Their goal in training is not to reach maximum output. Those reserves are saved for competition times. Holidays are great, but those smaller periods, they shouldn't be underestimated. And it shouldn't be an afterthought. Instead, it should be planned like any other thing. And you might be thinking taking breaks is a waste of time and you could be working or doing something productive. But I often find my best ideas surface when I'm taking a break. Manage your physical energy and you will have a healthy body. Manage your mental energy and you will have a healthy mind. Manage your emotional energy and you will have a healthy mood. Manage your social energy and you will have healthy relationships. And throughout this video, I hope you've learned the idea of optimizing your energy. And it's not about the time that you spend on a task, but the quality of energy that you bring to it. I love it when I have a day, week, or even month where everything seems to be falling in place, where my health is in check, I'm mentally switched on, my mood is buoyant, and the strength of my relationships are aligned with my values. I'm not always there energy-wise, but that's why it's important for me to remember that energy is a cycle between recovery and expenditure. And if you manage that cycle well, you can actually expand your capacity for one of those 4 key categories. It's like increasing the size of your battery. To do that, you first need to expand the energy past your current limits. Then it's equally important, you must give yourself the opportunity to recover. And without that recovery period, your battery doesn't grow. You just burn out. And if I ever feel low, I can go back to this framework as guidance to see where I've been slipping. And hopefully, I can regain some balance. Anyways guys, that brings me to a close. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you have any comments or suggestions, please comment below, and I'll see you in another one. Bye bye.